Namaste, everyone. Welcome to our yin and gentle movements yoga practice today, which also includes restorative yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. Welcome. You'll want to have quite a few props, such as 2 blocks, a strap, a pillow or bolster, and a blanket. We're going to continue with our theme of playing with balance a little bit in the beginning when we're warming up, as well as opening up the hips all throughout the hips. Might look like external rotation of the thighs, which is turning them out, and releasing any tension in the lower back, creating a little more space in the lower spine. So let's start in a comfortable posture of Sukhasana, which means easy pose with your legs in some variation of cross-legged that is most comfortable for you to begin in. So if you're feeling really tight in your hip flexors and your knees are lifting like this up away from the floor, then stack your blocks or stack your pillows and blankets and make as high of a seat for you to elevate your pelvis on, and sit towards the front edge of your props so that your thighs can fall more easily, allowing them to turn out. And if you experiment with how wide apart or close together your shins are crossing, you can find out what is best for you to begin with so you're not straining. And let's take a moment to settle in to the practice. Inviting a tall spine, a rooted pelvis, and a relaxed physical presence. So I wanted to review one of the other practices within the first limb of yoga. You might remember that there are 8 limbs of yoga. In the first limb of yoga, called the yamas, there are 5 different practices for cultivating harmony with the world around us. And I'd like to highlight the 3rd practice, which is called asteya. Asteya from Sanskrit can be translated as non-stealing. Now we can think of the most obvious way not to or the most obvious way to practice non-stealing is don't take anybody else's things. But there are not so obvious ways that we may be unaware of in which we are stealing, sort of say. Starts with this quote. So this is a book by Gabrielle Harris. Starts with a quote by Theodore Roosevelt. Comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy. Do you ever find yourself comparing your pose to somebody else's pose in a yoga class? Do you ever find yourself comparing what you have with what other people have, or someone's on vacation and you're feeling jealous that you're not on vacation? So comparison, rooted underneath that, is what can cause us to so-called steal or even have that craving. I love the way this author lists different ways in which we might be stealing and be more aware of it, because ultimately, remember that the first practice of the first limb of yoga is to do no harm, ahimsa, non-harm. And that's the bigger picture here of why we can be more conscious of how we're treating ourselves and others, so that we're not stealing, so that we're practicing asteya. So one way, she says, is our dramas, problems, and so-called messes are ours. When we dump them unsolicited onto another, we drain that person's emotional bank balance. So how many times have we just poured out without asking someone, is it okay if I vent to you right now? And just started venting to them about this other person that you're angry at, or the situation that you're frustrated about. And all of a sudden, all our emotional baggage is vomited onto another person to carry. So that's one way of being aware. Do we do that? Another one is stealing each other's peace. Peace can be given and taken. So taking away someone's peace of mind, heart, or physical peace is spiritually and energetically draining. Sometimes I'll get little, what do you call it? News alerts from people who are really like panicked about some kind of news circulating around on the hypermedia, and it spreads this fear of, oh, this person's going around at gas stations and doing this. Okay, there's one aspect of like, hey, I want you to be safe, but there's another aspect of like, where am I coming from? Am I transplanting my fear onto somebody else and taking from their peace of mind? And how are we affecting those around us? How are we affecting their peace of heart, their peace of mind, by what we share with them, by how we show up? Another one is unplagiarize your life. It's relatively easy to look at someone's life, to how they are living, and want to emulate that. However, when we copy others' words or ideas without giving them credit, or try to cut and paste another's life into our own, we are, in a sense, stealing. So just remember that someone's creative ideas, you know, that's theirs. And if we're borrowing something, remembering to give them credit. The words we say, or fashion, or whatever it might be. Another is time vampire, keeping others waiting, or always being late yourself, taking up someone else's time through speech, are ways we may cut into another's precious time. So having people wait for us all the time, we're not honoring that time is their energy too, and they took the time to show up on time. And so honoring that and being on time as well is asteya. Another is environmental bandit. There is plenty to go around in the ever generous world, taking more than you need from the environment, wasting the world's precious resources, or stockpiling all diminished shared resources to the point of depletion. So just remembering how we consume, like how much do we really need to buy? How much do we really need of a certain product at a time? And it's a habit that we can create, being conscious of, okay, I'll just take what I need. And then prana, drainer, unwise use of your energy, overcommitting or working yourself to the bone is a withdrawal from the energetic bank balance. When we go into the red, we steal from our health. This one's interesting because it's like stealing from ourselves when we overcommit to be in so many places at so many times, or to take on so many tasks that we really need to do. So there's imbalance in our own energy. We're draining ourselves. So that's a sense of stealing. And then in the end, she says, steya is a band-aid we use to cover the feelings of lack. Steya is stealing. When we take just what we need, we feed ourselves so we can be of service to others. When we take just what we need, we reserve the right for others to have their share. When we take just what we need, we respect the finite nature of the world's resources. When we take just what we need, we live in psychological abundance, and the desire to steal falls away. Through giving back, we replenish what we have subtracted. So there are a couple of antidotes to stealing, ways that we can cultivate the mindset of asteya, non-stealing. And one is continuously practicing gratitude, and not just saying thank you by default, but really sincerely finding a place within our hearts to appreciate the daily blessings that we have. The fact that we get to gather here right now and have the time or the energy to care for our bodies as a community and care for our minds in yoga and meditation. Or the fact that you had whatever you had for meals today. You know, where did all that come from? Who contributed to the production of that food? So just remembering how many blessings we have at a given moment, and also practicing generosity. From the heart of gratitude and giving, we can eliminate that feeling of lack, and we can expand that feeling of abundance. And so let's start to check in with what we're bringing into the plate today as we practice. Sense the way your physical body is feeling. Mentally scanning each leg, each arm, taking your time to move throughout your body in observation. Notice the quality of your breath without changing how you're breathing. And feel your energy as you begin your practice. Notice your state of mind and heart. What's present for you right now, mentally and emotionally? As we cultivate contentment and acceptance with whatever's happening in the moment, that is a step in practicing asteya. Let's start to deepen the breath. Slowly breathing in through the nostrils, breathing out through the mouth. A little bit slower, inhale. Allow your belly and chest to expand. Exhaling very slowly, find the very bottom of the breath when you've emptied all of it. And then invite an even deeper inhalation. What can you acknowledge right now that you are blessed with? In what ways are you already feeling abundant and whole? Beginning our practice with gratitude. And from that mindset, clarify what you would like to focus on as we're opening our bodies, breaths, and minds and hearts. What is your intention for today's practice? And in the spirit of generosity and remembering our interconnectedness, how we all affect each other, I invite you to choose someone else, a group, or a cause that you would like to dedicate today's practice to, as a way of sending them loving kindness or sharing the benefits that you'll receive from this practice. And together, let's join our voices in support of each other by creating resonance through chanting Om 3 times. As you continue to breathe with the lips closed, if that's possible for you, I'm going to invite you into a breathing technique that will set the tone for this yin practice, which is more about slowing down and later on holding postures and stillness. So I'm going to invite you into Durga Pranayama, 3-part breathing. It's a way to cultivate deeper presence in our bodies by connecting to the breath, which is only happening now. And it's a way to really feel where you're breathing into in your torso. And so that later we can really expand the breath deeply. So imagine that your torso from your pelvic floor to the top of your neck is a jar. Divide that jar into 3 equal cross sections. From your belly button to your pelvic floor, all the way around is the first section. Most of your rib cage is included in the second section, the middle. And the third section is your chest, upper back, shoulders, and neck. So let's delineate the top and bottom sections by placing a hand at the collarbones and a hand below the belly button. 3-part breathing goes like this. With lips closed, we'll inhale into the lowest section 1/3, pause. We'll inhale into the middle section 1/3, pause. Then we'll inhale into the top 1/3, holding the breath as we consciously relax and sit tall. And then through the nose, we'll slowly empty the breath and we'll hold it out at the bottom. That's 1 cycle. Let's try 3 cycles together and continue 3 cycles on your own. So try to breathe in a very relaxed and gentle way. Let's prepare to begin by inhaling fully through the nose, then open the mouth, clear it out. Close the mouth, let's begin. Inhale into the lowest part of your torso, pause. Inhale into the middle, pause. Inhale into the top. Hold the breath, relax. Through your nose, very slowly exhale everything out. Hold it out. Round 2. Inhale, lowest section. Pause. Inhale, middle. Pause. Inhale, top. Hold the breath. Relax. Exhale very slowly through the nose. Hold the breath. 3rd cycle. Inhale, lowest section. Pause. Inhale, middle. Pause. Inhale, top. Hold. Relax. Exhale everything out. Hold it out. On your own, try 3 more cycles. Without rushing, when you finish, let go of controlling the breath and notice how you feel. Now I invite you into practicing a breathing technique that we'll use when we're in the yoga postures and movements called Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious breathing. It helps to balance your energy and cultivate calm and focus. So closing the lips, gently narrow the back of your throat and create a gentle whispering sound, very soft and smooth, that you can listen to. As you breathe in slowly into all 3 parts of the torso without pausing, without holding the breath. When you arrive at the top, smooth transition to the exhalation, balancing the length with the inhalation. So creating a continuous flowing rhythm to the breath that can help soothe the mind and anchor it as well. So listen to that, and let's start to make our way onto all fours, hands and knees. We'll start with some gentle movement, cat-cow pose or Betalasana. So as you set your hands at the top of your mat, spread your fingers wide, stack your shoulders on top of your wrists, but step your knees back a couple of inches behind your hips to give your torso more space to move around. Beginning with the in-breath, glide your torso forward, roll your shoulders back and down, lifting your chest and gaze, cow pose. Beginning with the out-breath, contract your abdomen, slowly drop your head as you round the back, cat pose. Again, inhale, draw your chest forward, coiling it up, stretch the front of your spine. Exhale, contract the belly, dome your back, stretching the back of the spine. Keep going another 3 to 5 cycles of breath at your own pace. Taking notice of opportunities to practice being aware of our thoughts and how we can cultivate a feeling of gratitude and connection or acknowledgement of our wholeness and worthiness. So there is no feeling of lack as we're practicing, right? We're cultivating the mindset of asteya, non-stealing. Relax to a neutral spine. Spread the thumbs flat towards each other, index fingers pointing forward, and then tuck your toes, lift your hips back into downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, bend your knees, lift your hips high as you can, and pull your hips towards your back wall. Drop your head, shake it out, relax the neck, and use your hands to press into the mat as you lift the shoulder blades back away from the neck. Now, keeping your hips that high, keep drawing the thighs back. Press the front tops of your thigh bones back. Chest is pressing towards the shins, belly is firming in. How's the breath? Now begin to sink your heels towards the floor. Even if they don't touch the floor, you might also keep the knees bent. Try to create the feeling of a flat back as you relax your neck. Spin your outer upper arms towards the floor, broadening the shoulder blades across your back ribs and lengthening the neck. 3 more deep breaths. Steady your gaze on one spot. Steady your drishti. Though the body is still, drawing your hips back, feel energy flowing from crown of the head, rising up through the tailbone and back. Down through the fingertips. Inhale, lift your right leg behind you. Exhale, step the foot gently beside your right thumb. Lower your back knee and bring your hands either onto blocks or the floor, framing your right heel. Now, if on blocks, you can adjust the height of the block so that your shoulders are relaxed. Make sure your feet, your legs are hips distance apart, and that your front knee is bending directly above your right heel, but not over bending in front of it. Keep the back toes tucked, and let's move into a gentle flow to loosen up the pelvic region. As you breathe in, letting your pelvis sink, relax the shoulders and gaze up. Keep your feet where they are, and as you breathe out, lift the left knee. Begin to draw your right outer hip back, straightening the legs to your degree. Bow as if you have a flat back. Let's continue that. Inhale, lower the back knee and gaze up. Exhale, lift the back knee, draw the right hip back and folds. 3 more cycles of breath. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, kneeling lunge. And let's step the right knee back. Step the left foot forward. And switch sides. Tuck the back toes. Front knee is bending just above the heel. Shoulders relax. Sink your hips. Breathe in and look up. Keep your feet where they are. Exhale, lift the right knee. Draw your left outer hip back to whatever degree you can straighten the legs comfortably. Bow as if you have a flat back. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Taking your time to follow the pace of your breath. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Keep going, twice more. This time, come into a high lunge and walk the blocks forward. Step your right foot forward and fold with your feet hips distance or wider apart. Parallel the feet to each other. Bend your knees a lot. And on an inhale, roll your spine slowly upright. We're going to continue a similar movement as we play with balance. So start with your feet hips distance apart and bring your hands to your hips. Feel the height of your two frontal hip bones. Generally, they are as balanced as they can be with your 2 feet on the ground. Try to keep them balanced. Engage your lower belly. Steady your gaze just ahead of you. And imagine that you're balancing a book or one of these yoga blocks on your head. So try to keep your spine upright. As you inhale, bend the left knee in front of you and flex the foot. Keep balancing the hips, and exhale, slowly step the ball of your left foot all the way to the rear of your mat into a high lunge. Now let's add the arms. Inhale, lift the left knee forward again. Raise the arms forward. Exhale, step the ball of the left foot back. Sweep the arms back. Let's keep going, another 3 cycles. Inhale, forward, flex the foot. Exhale, very softly, step it back. Couple more. Now notice as you're shifting your weight forward and back, does your spine tilt forward and back? Try to keep your spine vertical. You're balancing that imaginary book on your head. Last cycle here. Nice. Next time you step back, stay there in crescent lunge. Bring your hands to your hips. Draw the tailbone down, lift the frontal hip bones. Find your balance here. With the right hand, keep drawing the right hip back. Raise the left arm and then lengthen your spine forward. Press back through the inner left heel. You could also lower the back knee to the floor if you want more support. Place the left hand down on the inner side of the left ankle on a block or the floor. Keep your 2 hips leveled and twist to the right. Raise your right arm to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, circle the right arm back and down. Inhale, right arm to the sky. Exhale, back and down. 3 more. Inhale, up. Exhale, back and down. Keep going. So loosening up that shoulder. So we also had a request to help open up the fronts of the shoulders. We'll do that more in the end part of the practice. And then lower both hands on both blocks. Step the left foot forward and fold. Bend the knees and inhale, roll up to stand. All right, bring your hands to your hips. Feel the height of your hips, balancing them. Engage the belly. Listen to the balance in your breath. Inhale, raise the right knee forward, flexing the foot, reach the arms forward. Exhale, slowly step the ball of the right foot all the way back, sweeping the arms back. Imagine you're balancing a book on your head. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. On your own, twice more. Take your time. Moving slowly and mindfully. Next time you arrive in a lunge, stay there. Bring your hands to your hips. Keep the hips evenly forward. Raise the right arm and inhale, lengthen forward. Lower the right hand on the inner side of the front leg, right beneath your shoulder on a block of the floor. Keep the hips still and twist to the left. Raising the left arm up. Inhale. Exhale, backstroke the arm. Inhale it forward and up. Exhale, backstroke. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, backstroke. Twice more. This time, lower both knees to the ground. And let's take a pause with 2 blocks underneath our forearms. So set up your blocks on their medium height like this. Place them about a foot in front of your knees. We're going to come into child's pose while we're opening up the shoulders, the lats. Oops. So extending your arms forward. Start with your palms face down. Rotate your triceps downward even more. Spread the shoulder blades apart. And then bend your elbows. Keep your elbows, your shoulders width apart, not wider. So adjust the blocks so they are your shoulders width apart. And then plant your elbows on the blocks. Press your fingertips into each other. And sink your hips back into your heels while tracing your thumbs down the back of your skull. Down the back of your neck, as far back as you can trace your thumbs while dropping your head. Breathing deeply as you can. Sliding the shoulders back. Continue to rotate the triceps downward. We're here for just about 8 more deep breaths. Start to press off the blocks and rise up slowly. Let's put the blocks aside and make sure that your pillow, your blanket are within arm's reach of the front of your mat as you make your way into downward facing dog. We're going to prepare for a single pigeon pose. Step your feet together in downward dog and raise your right leg behind you. Take a moment to circle the right leg at the hip, just warming up your hip joint a little bit more. Circle in both directions. Keep relaxing your neck. Deep breaths. Now from the hip socket, rotate your right thigh bone externally, which means turn it out. Slide your right shin across your mat in front of your pelvis. Slide your left leg straight behind you and tuck the toes. Bring your hands outside of your hips and lift your hips off the ground. Draw your right outer hip back and rotate your left outer hip forward until both of your frontal hip bones are equally facing the front of your mat. Now, if needed, you can place a folded blanket or other prop under your right glute if there's a gap between that glute and the floor. Relax the back toes. Place the hands in front of your shin, your right shin. And as you breathe in, lift your chest, stretch the front of your torso. Now take your time starting to bow forward. You can reach for your pillows, you can stack a bunch of blankets and blocks. Use whatever you need. You can also put a block for underneath your forehead if you want to lie face down. So that as you're releasing your torso down, you no longer have to use your arms to hold your weight. Your arms can relax, your shoulders can relax. We're going to be here for the next 3 minutes before we switch sides. So I invite you to find a comfortable enough depth to support your body in this posture. And then focus on your breath. Two more last deep breaths here. And as you begin to move out of the pose, take your time, no rush. Be very gentle. Start to make your way back slowly into downward facing dog. You might take a moment to pedal your feet in place while swiveling your hips side to side. And just notice the difference in sensations along your left and right sides of your body, especially at the hips. When you feel ready, from downward facing dog, step your feet together. Inhale, raise your left leg back. Take a moment to bend the knee and rotate the thigh at the hip socket in both directions a few times, warming up the hip. Keep relaxing your neck and actively pressing the ground away with both hands. Then turn out your left thigh at the hip and slide your left shin across your mat in front of your pelvis, lower to sit with your right leg behind you and the toes tucked. Take a moment here to frame your hips with your hands and lift your hips off the floor so that you can draw your left outer hip back and rotate your right outer hip forward. If it's helpful, place a prop under your left glute so you can completely rest the pelvis down. Then relax the back toes and place the hands in front of your left shin. As you breathe in, stretch the front of your torso, lifting your chest. Then start to slowly fold in. Notice if this side of your hips feels differently. And if so, how will you honor that difference? Maybe it needs more props for you to rest on, higher stack of pillows or blocks, or less. As we're giving ourselves the appropriate amount of props, especially in restorative yoga like now, then the more we can feel a sense of contentment with what's going on in our bodies, a sense of not having to lack, but really knowing how to support ourselves and be with what's happening in our bodies in the moment. We're going to be here for 3 minutes. Let's continue resting, awareness on the breath. Can you still feel your breath pass through those 3 sections of your torso, back and front? And can you hear the exhalation last just as long as the inhalation? And tune into the last 2 deep breaths here on this side. Once again, I invite you to transition very slowly back to downward facing dog. And when you arrive there, notice any way your body may want to move or be still to integrate both sides of the pose. Single pigeon pose. Notice if your downward dog feels any different in your body. And let's eventually lower onto our knees, slide the legs out in front, and straighten your left leg in front of you as you bend the right knee. Step your right foot on the floor. We're going to prepare for a seated spinal twist and decide how you want to set up for this twist. Choose the variation that I'll offer in a moment that allows your 2 sitting bones to equally root down, your spine to be comfortably tall with the shoulders relaxed. So either right foot is in front of the right hip, left foot is flexed, right foot is outside the left knee, or you're also bending the left knee on that second version. Backstroke your right arm and place the fingertips behind your pelvis. Raise your left arm and every part of your body touching the ground below, press down into the ground and lift up from the bottom of your spine as you breathe in. Now at your waistline, begin to twist to your right as you breathe out. Lower your left arm to hold your top leg, or hook the elbow outside of the thigh if you can still relax the shoulders. Continuing to breathe in, root down and rise up, and to breathe out, twisting a little more for about 8 more deep breaths. Knowing that this is a yin yoga practice. Remember, the energy of yin is about allowing, not so much forcing, pushing, or efforting, more about creating the space for the body to relax deeper into the posture as it needs. Now on your next exhalation, keep your right leg on top and unwind your spine. See if you might be able to hug your thighs closer together and splay your feet apart until you might stack your knees down the midline of your body for a cow face pose. Now, if this throws you off balance, you can straighten the bottom leg and flex that foot like this, just keeping the knees close together. Now you might reach for your strap here as we're going to bring the arms into cow face pose, opening up the shoulders. So raising your left arm, dangle the strap from your left hand so that it's hanging behind your back like this. With your right hand, rotate your left outer upper arm forward and bring the elbow behind your head. Pressing both shoulders down, lift your chin naturally spaced away from your chest and glide it towards the back of your throat. Bring the right hand behind you underneath and catch the bottom end of the strap. Walk your hands as close together as you can, pointing the left elbow up towards the sky. If your hands meet, you can drop the strap and clasp your hands. Press your 2 sitting bones down, and as you breathe in, lift up through each vertebra of your spine. Lift up through the back of your skull. As you breathe out, seal in the belly and begin to hinge forward from the hips just to your capacity for the next 9 breaths. Gomukhasana, cow face pose. Notice where you're feeling this posture in your body the most. And what is your body asking for while you're here? Is it asking you to go deeper? Is it asking you to back off or stay right where you are? One more deep breath here. Pressing down to your pelvis, lead with your chest. Inhale to slowly rise. Release your arms, stretch out your legs, and take a moment here to sit tall and let your body unwind from those two postures. Feel your breathing. Now keep your right leg straight and bend your left knee. Let's set up for the spinal twist, if you can, in the same way as you did on the first side. So either step your left foot in front of your left hip or cross it outside of your right knee, or also bend the right knee. Ground your two sitting bones and backstroke your left arm. Raise your right arm and press into the ground as you breathe in to lengthen your spine. Keep your legs still, and as you breathe out, begin twisting to your left. Lower your right arm to hold your top leg or hook the elbow outside of the thigh. Breathing in, root down to rise up. Breathing out, allow your body to relax deeper into the twist. One more deep breath. Now, as you exhale, keep your left leg on top, unwind your spine, and then take your version of cow face pose, either hugging the knees closer together and splaying the feet apart, or straightening the bottom leg and flexing the foot underneath. Ground your two sitting bones and maybe use your strap, this time raising your right hand as you dangle the strap from it behind your back. With your left hand, rotate your right outer upper arm forward and bring the elbow behind your head. Press your shoulders down and lift your chin parallel to the ground. Reach your left hand behind you underneath, catch the bottom end of the strap. Walk your hands as close together as you can. You might be able to clasp the hands and drop the strap, or not. Ground your two sitting bones and breathe in as you lift the spine, but relax the shoulders. Seal in your bottom front ribs, and from your hips, begin to hinge forward. Taking your time to explore your range of motion on this side of the pose. Cow face pose, Gomukhasana. One more deep breath here. And then press down to your sitting bones. Lead with your chest. Inhale to slowly rise. Release your arms, stretch out your legs. And once again, take a moment to pause and observe your body. How does it feel right now? How does your breath and energy feel? Rather than answering good or bad or fine, think of the qualities that you're observing. Is there a smooth quality to the breath? Is there a lightness of energy in certain parts of the body or tension? All right, let's prepare for seated forward fold. So with your legs both straight in front of you, notice if it's helpful to elevate your pelvis on a folded blanket, a couple blocks, or a pillow so that you can sit up tall. Ground your two sitting bones, and you may want to use a strap around the balls of your feet as an extension of your arms. So when you use the strap, you can decide how much leeway to give yourself in the strap so that you're able to draw the shoulder head slightly back, press them down so that you're not rounding the shoulders forward. You want to keep the chest slightly lifted, keep the space at your throat, chin is gliding slightly towards the back of the throat, long spine. Take a deep breath here as you flex the feet and press them into the strap. And then from your hips, hinge forward just a little bit of your range, keeping a slight lift in the chest, long neck, shoulders relax. Press the pelvis down and breathe in. Stretch the spine from the pelvis. Now, if you can keep going without rounding the back or tensing the shoulders, go ahead and keep going. Some of you might be able to clasp your big toes without straining. If so, bend the elbows apart so you can keep relaxing the shoulders down the back. Several more breaths here in Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. One more deep breath. Press down to your sitting bones. Lead with your chest, and on an inhale, slowly rise. Before we place our body into a resting position or shavasana, I'm going to invite you to sit for one more pranayama, and that is box breathing, Samavriti pranayama, which is another breathing technique like the first one that we practiced, Durga pranayama, that helps to relax the nervous system. So sit in a way that you can breathe well, feel grounded and tall in the spine with your whole body relaxed. Maybe bringing the thumb and first finger to touch, palms face down, to cultivate the energy of grounding. And maybe close the eyes. As you close the lips, I'll invite you to breathe in through the nose for 4 counts. Hold the breath for 4 counts while relaxing. Exhale for 4 counts and hold the breath for 4 counts while relaxing. Let's practice 3 cycles together, then 3 cycles on your own before we let go of controlling the breath. Prepare to start by inhaling fully through the nose. Open the mouth, clear it out. Close the mouth, let's begin. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Cycle 2, inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Third cycle, inhale 4, hold 4, exhale 4, hold 4. Keep going, 3 more cycles on your own. And when you finish, consciously let go of controlling the breath. Observe how you feel. Staying aware of the breath while not controlling it. I'll invite you to choose a posture for Shavasana, whether you want to lie down on the floor completely, or if you'd like a supported heart opening posture, more of opening the fronts of the shoulders. You can set up your 2 blocks. One block at the highest height at the rearmost edge of your mat will serve as a pillow for your skull. The second block at the medium height or second level across the width of the mat, spaced about 5 to 6 inches towards you from the rear block, will be right underneath the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. Now the legs, you can either stretch the legs out, maybe place a long pillow across behind the backs of the knees for lower back support, splaying the feet wide apart. Or you can drop the knees open, bring the soles of the feet together for more hip openers if you would like. A blanket that's folded can serve as a grounding weight to place on your pelvis and belly for relaxation support. And when you're ready, lie back onto the blocks. Remember, right underneath the bottom tips of the shoulder blades is where you'll meet the lower block, and right underneath the skull, not the neck, is where you'll meet the highest block. Make any adjustments so that your 2 shoulders can roll back easily and feel pretty symmetrical on both sides as you turn the palms to face up, down by your thighs, and feel that there's space in the back of your neck as well as the front of your neck. Closing your eyes, I'm going to be playing the singing bowls for a brief sound bath during corpse pose. So set your awareness to rest softly on your natural breath, just feeling the waves of the in-breath, the waves of the out-breath, inviting your body into more relaxed stillness. As you rest a little longer in Shavasana, keeping your eyes closed, notice how your physical body feels now. Taking your time to move very gently. Start to rub your thumbs across your fingertips. Feel the sensations in your hands. Begin to wiggle your toes, feeling your feet. And just like that, let one movement inspire another as you ease into a stretch. You eventually turn over onto your right side and rest your head for a few moments, noticing the quality of your natural breath. How does your energy feel now? Sense the effects of your practice. As you feel ready, please carefully lift your body up slowly. Find a comfortable way to sit for 5 minutes in meditation. You might place your hands in Gyan Mudra, palms face up, thumb and index fingers touching, or stack the right palm over the left, palms up on the lap, with thumb tips touching, and maybe close the eyes. Let's begin. I invite you to choose an object to focus on, and that could be your breath as you breathe naturally. That could be a personal mantra like Om repeatedly in your mind. That could be the feeling of gratitude as we cultivate asteya, the feeling of wholeness and abundance. If your mind wanders off, come back to your object you chose to focus on. And let it be gentle the way you transition back. letting go of your object of focus. Sense the way you're feeling in your mind, in your heart. As we prepare to leave our practice and integrate it into our lives, however you find personally meaningful, in what ways can you cultivate gratitude each day from a sincere heart of acknowledging the ways you're blessed and connected to abundance and well-being already? In what ways might you practice generosity to let go of the feeling of lack, practicing asteya, non-stealing? As we bring our practice to a close, remind yourself of your intention for showing up. Remember to whom you offer this practice today. You might picture them in some way receiving benefit. And together, let's close as we chant Om 3 times. Sense the resonance that you're both giving and receiving. Bowing in, acknowledging the light within. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.